Hey, I'm Shan, mama of the girls. This is Cozy Womb Podcast. I discuss everything parenting and kid affiliated. Up to the sky, makes me wanna stomp. Makes me want my hair, makes me wanna dance, say stomp. What's up, guys? Welcome. It is a Monday. This is episode 26, and welcome to Cozy Womb. The topic is, how is your child's mental health? Did you know almost 5 million children in the U.S. are suffering from mental illness? Let's be honest. The anxiety and depression that today's kids deal with is a little too high. There are less parents giving their time because they have to be at work at longer hours. They have a longer commute, and it's either there's some sitter watching their kids or an older sibling, and the time that is exchanged with parents and kids during a weekly basis is very low. There's less communication face to face, and my thing is, if 19.86% of adults are experiencing mental illness, what about the kids with all this access to the internet, their phones, their iPads, the TV that can link to the iPad, vice versa? Other kids who are exploring who knows what. A lot of parents don't even believe in or understand what mental illness is or anxiety. They don't even know what it looks like. So they're just passing their kids in their house whenever they catch them, and they think, oh, they're here, they're okay. The facts are the kids 12 to 25 have the highest rates of depression, and we have to know what to look for and how we can find some solutions. Welcome to Cozy Womb Podcast. Yay! I'm not even doing a parenting news for this one. I just want to get into it. So here we go. The pandemic didn't help a lot of families because a lot of families were sick, or a lot of families were having to stay home with their kids for the first time and homeschool and virtual school and just be around their spouse and their kids a little more than usual, right? So a lot of parents were stressed. A lot of abuse was happening because you're spending more time with your abuser that's in the home. So are the kids. A lot of friends weren't coming by or outside hanging out. The pandemic earlier on just made it seem like if you step outside, you were going to be zapped, right? And so parents were realizing that they were parents to a complete stranger who had a room in their house. So 4 things happened. Depression, loneliness, stress, and tension was in a lot of households. And there are 4 things that we need to watch. The depression examples, the loneliness examples, what it looks like when your kid is stressed, and what does it look like when tension is within them. So first and foremost, let's talk about depression. Depression shows up in a lot of kids by them not wanting to be seen, not wanting to be in pictures, not wanting to come out their room, not wanting to show their face. So they're in a lot of hoodies, they're in a lot of pants, they're wearing dark colors, they're trying to fade into the background when family comes over. They have bad sleeping patterns, so they might have days where they just stay up. They might have days where they're just sleeping. They're either eating a lot or they're barely eating. It's not really balanced in their appetite. And y'all know teenagers have such a big appetite. So you should know the difference in what's going on with your kid based on that. And they're constantly sad or down or just not enthused about anything. When it's loneliness that they're dealing with, they have low self-esteem. They're embarrassed by not being liked, by not being accepted. They're always withdrawn, and they're not social. Nobody's calling them. Nobody's asking them to go to any parties. They don't want to engage in anything that's happening with kids their age. They don't want to go outside and play. It's hard to get them to introduce themselves to people. So look for that. Now, when a child is going through something stressful, they're either getting chest pains or headaches. They can't sleep. They're having nightmares. Some kids are even wetting the bed, or they're binging on food or binging on TV to avoid what the real problem is. When a child is dealing with tension, they're having breathing issues, or they get sweaty palms, or they have muscle aches or digestion issues. So pay attention to that. Does their stomach always hurt? If it's not something that they're eating that's weird, if it's not like their cycle, like what is really going on. And my thing is, when I hear stuff like this going on, when it involves kids and parenting, I want to know what the solutions are. And I'm going to tell you after these messages. Don't forget, Lulu.com has 3 of my journals to help podcasters. Yes, I made 3 books to go ahead and help podcasters. The first book I made was The Podcast Journal. And in that book, it basically helps you set a flow in order to do your shows and be more consistent, right? And the second book was Marketing the Podcast 101, where I explained to you that having a great podcast is, yes, recording it, but most of you getting your podcast out there is you talking about it and marketing it in a way, whether it's merch, TikTok, Twitter, IG, and your podcast or your website. You have to know how to market your podcast. You have to know who your audience is. And then the third book is The Podcast Questions. I really broke down page by page what questions you would want to ask a particular guest by the guest type. And I left spaces in there from recommendations of what questions you should ask and tips from other podcasters. And also I gave you space to create your own questions that you want to ask your guests. And it's lightweight books. It's nothing heavy. It's nothing odd. You can roll it up, or you can just like stick it in your laptop bag with your laptop when you travel to record, and you just have like your resource on hand. I know some people are really just digital and they put everything in notes on their iPhone, and some people are like vivid seers of what they need to do and they like to write things down. So I hope that helped. Again, it's on lulu.com, and you can check out the links on shambypodden.com. Now back to the show. If you are looking for your fall sweaters and hoodies, and you trying to prep the closet, or you're looking for long sleeve shirts, or your new bus stop coffee mug, check out the Cozy Womb shop for the podcast, because I updated. You're welcome. Peace.
Here we go.
Back to the show.
Back to the show.
All right, so we got the solutions. Here we go. Parents can support their kids' mental health by doing the following: watching your child's patterns, setting boundaries of how long they can go without speaking, how long they can go without showing you their room or their closet or their backpack. They can check in, when did you use a car? Where did you go? What's your work schedule? What special plans you have up for this week? Is there a reason why you came in at 11:30 on Thursday instead of coming in at 9 like I asked? Like being very direct about what boundaries were set, what rules were set in place, and why is it adrift, right? The third thing you can do is honestly do random weekly room checks and bathroom checks. A lot of kids like to go in their room and do whatever, or go in the bathroom and do whatever. A very common place where you think, oh, they're just using the bathroom, but they're in there doing something they shouldn't be doing. Definitely take your medication out of your bathroom or where it's easily found. When you have a teenager that you think is depressed or is suffering from anxiety, you want to either get a safe and put it in your room somewhere, and put your meds in that, put your razors in that. Alcohol, you want to put it in something that's locked that they cannot get into. Okay. Um, Number 4, you want to encourage your child to do new things. And when you go explore new things, you take your child with you. Number 5, go shopping with them, see what they're into, see what they're buying. Ask them what music they like, research that artist. You want to not leave them at home by themselves for long periods because they need someone to check in on them. Don't give them like a precise warning that, hey, I'm sending Cindy over to the house at 5 o'clock to come check on you, because they'll hide whatever it is that they're really doing until that person leaves. So, keep eyes around, keep ears around. Number 6, tell them to send you a recent playlist, because I think music with today's kids speaks when they don't want to talk. Number 7, don't run your mouth to your friends about what they're doing or what they're going through, because that will build a distrust between you and your kid. They'll feel like if they tell you anything, you're going to tell the world, and then they're not going to want to share anything with you. You don't want to lose their trust. Number 8, stop ignoring who they are and where they're headed. And be really honest about what you were like at their age and how you're feeling about what you're seeing, or academically where they are. Just be really honest and don't assume. Number 9, seek out a therapist for them. I think a lot of parents try to avoid having, the kid that has to go to therapy. But if your kid is asking you, hey, I want to talk to somebody and I don't want it to be you, don't be in your ego and your pride to the point where you're just like, no, you could talk to me. You don't need a therapist. If they want to talk to a complete stranger about what they're feeling and thinking, let them do that. Okay? I would rather have a kid that felt awkward and needed help and came to me and said, I need help from somebody else, not you. And I went out and I did my best to get them that help, than for them to not tell me at all. Right? And a lot of parents, they lose their kids by not creating a space where their kids felt comfortable to come to them and be like, I need help. So just keep that in mind. And number 10, teach your child how to cope with doubt, pressure, anger, sadness. Try to convince them to try journaling and respect their journal. Don't read their journal unless they want you to read it. And I hope that this helped. There's too many kids out here dealing with a lot. I think a lot of parents have this misconception that, these kids' lives are easy by what we see. But we're not in it. We're not in the high school where all the kids have cell phones that we have. We're not at the bus stop where kids are just saying whatever and doing whatever. There's a lot of states that have an allowance at a very young age that maybe your state doesn't. The pressures that these kids are going through, the uneasiness that they feel when they see social media and women that are like 18, 21, 25 have their body done in a very way, and they're making thousands of dollars each month. And I think kids today are just like, wah, 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 you got a job at Old Navy, or wah, 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 you got a job at the grocery store. Well, I'm making at least $5,000 a month by doing this. And they think it's such a great shortcut. And sometimes what they're doing is taking naked pictures of themselves and putting it on the internet and thinking no one will screenshot this, no one will hack this, no one else will see this unless they do it this way. When in reality, OnlyFans got hacked very easily, and people's pictures got taken in videos. People's phones get hacked easily. People's computers get hacked easily. A lot of young kids, because they don't have the experience or wisdom, share information with complete strangers over the internet to put them in harm's way. And in Georgia, sex trafficking is a very high crime that is here with kids and grown-ups. So I'm very much like initiating discussions of, what do you do with this? Or you don't talk to this person and say this, when you record, don't say this. Don't show this when you're on camera or you're taking a picture. Don't post this. Don't tell them your real name. Like all of those things you have to keep like pouring into your kids, just so they're safe and they do things with wisdom. Okay. But yeah, we all parents out here, and we want to see our parents. We want to see our kids make it through like elementary school without suicide because they're getting bullied. We want to see them make it through middle school without harming themselves. We want to see them make it through high school without harming themselves, make it through college, enjoy their 20s, explore, travel, be safe, be aware, have boundaries, respect yourself. We want to see them make it in their 30s, and so on and so on. Like, no parent who is sane and healthy wants to bury their child before their child actually lives a life. So, yeah, mental health is a real thing. All right. Peace. Bye.
Bye.